Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're diving into a really fascinating and honestly a deeply critical part of the criminal justice system. We're looking at a concept that sits right at the very edge of two competing ideas, the need for effective police work and our fundamental civil liberties. It's called remand under the Criminal Procedure Code. So if you've ever wondered how the legal system actually balances the urgent need to solve a crime with a person's absolute right to freedom, well, you are in the exact right place. Okay, let's jump right in. Picture this scenario. An arrest is made. Literally the second those handcuffs click, an invisible, highly regulated 24-hour clock starts ticking down. The police have exactly 1 day, just 24 hours, to do their initial investigation while the suspect is in their custody. But come on, complex investigations almost never wrap up in a neat little 24-hour window, right? So here's the ultimate question. What happens when the police inevitably need more time? Because the system obviously can't just let a suspect walk away if the evidence is only half gathered, but at the same time, it absolutely cannot allow indefinite, unchecked detention. To figure out how the law handles this, here is our roadmap for today's explainer. Number 1, defining legal remand. Number 2, police versus judicial custody. Number 3, the step-by-step process. Number 4, strict rules and limits. And number 5, the golden rule. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, defining legal remand. You know, remand is one of those terms thrown around in legal dramas all the time, but its actual real-world definition is incredibly specific. Basically, remand is just the formal authority given by a court to keep an accused person in police or judicial custody for a specific period. The key thing here is that it is not automatic. In simple terms, when the police need more time beyond that first 24-hour window, they can't just decide on their own to keep the person locked up. No way. They have to explicitly ask the court for a permission slip, essentially. And that permission slip? That's what we call a remand. And there's a foundational philosophy you absolutely have to keep in mind here, which is custody for investigation, not for punishment. Remand is so often misunderstood by the public as some sort of early penalty or like a presumption that the person is guilty. It is absolutely not. It's just a procedural necessity. It's designed strictly to help with fact-finding, not to penalize someone before a trial even happens. Moving right along to Section 2, police versus judicial custody. So once a judge actually decides that yes, more time is needed, there are two very distinct paths this can take. And the difference between them is massive. Take a look at this. On the left side, we have police remand. This means the accused is sent back specifically to police custody for active investigation. And notice the really strict limit here. It maxes out at 15 days in total, period. Now, on the right side, we have judicial remand. This is where the accused is sent to standard jail, judicial custody, and this is granted for 14 days at a time. The easiest way to remember it? Police remand means you stay with the cops in their lockup. Judicial remand means you go to the regular jail system. And obviously, none of this is just arbitrary police procedure. It's heavily codified in the Criminal Procedure Code. The absolute bedrock for this is Section 167. That's the one that lays out the exact procedure for when an investigation can't be finished in 24 hours. Then you have Section 309, which gives the court the power to postpone proceedings, and Section 173, which covers the final report once the investigation is finally done. These sections are the literal legal guardrails protecting a person's liberty. Let's look at how this plays out in Section 3, the step-by-step process. Okay, so what does this actually look like from the second the handcuffs go on? It's a very formal chain of events. Step 1, the arrest happens. Step 2 is critical. Within 24 hours, the police must produce the accused before a magistrate. Step 3, the police formally ask for remand, explaining exactly why they need more time. Now, Step 4 is the ultimate safeguard of this whole system. The magistrate has to hear both sides. The defense gets to argue against it. If the magistrate is convinced, we hit Step 5. Remand is granted, either to police or judicial custody. And finally, Step 6, the investigation continues. You can probably tell by now, but this process is loaded with safety checks. We already established it's not a punishment, but look at these other safeguards. The police literally cannot hold someone without this formal court order. The accused has the explicit legal right to fight the remand request through their lawyer. The magistrate can't just blindly stamp the paperwork either. They have to legally record their specific reasons for granting it. And a really big one, a medical examination of the accused is absolutely mandatory during remand just to ensure they are physically okay. It's all about transparency at every single step. Which brings us to Section 4, strict rules and limits.
Look, handing over the power by the state to detain a citizen requires incredibly strict mathematical boundaries. Check out this grid. For police remand, the absolute maximum time allowed is 15 days in total. And look at that bottom row. Extensions for police remand are flat out not allowed. The investigation needs time, sure, but not limitless time. On the other hand, for judicial remand, where the person is just sitting in the standard jail system, they are sent for 14 days at a time, and that actually can be extended depending on the severity of the offense and how the legal proceedings are going.
So what actually makes a magistrate say yes to the police? Well, these are the valid grounds. The police might urgently need to recover a stolen item or a weapon, like a gun used in a crime. They might need time to dig up hidden documents, or maybe track down co-accused people who are on the run. Sometimes they need the suspect in custody to confront them directly with brand new evidence. The bottom line, the court needs a tangible, actionable reason.
But on the flip side, the court can absolutely say no. If the police just give some vague, insufficient reason, denied. If the judge gets the feeling the request is just a tactic to harass the accused, denied. If there's already been unnecessary delay, or hey, if the police were already given remand time previously and they just didn't use it properly, the request gets tossed out. The court is acting as a very strict gatekeeper here, actively protecting people from administrative laziness or police overreach. And that leads us perfectly into Section 5, the Golden Rule. Let's take all of these abstract concepts, the timelines, the legal frameworks, and actually apply them to a practical, real-world example from our source material regarding our robbery case. This is going to tie everything we've talked about together perfectly.
Picture this specific scenario. The police arrest person A in a robbery case. Now, the cops know for a fact a pistol was used, and they urgently need to recover it to make their case solid. So, right within that ticking 24-hour window, they bring person A before the magistrate. They make their pitch, and they request exactly 5 days of police remand for the highly specific purpose of finding that weapon.
The magistrate listens, decides that, yes, recovering a weapon is a totally valid reason, and approves the 5 days. Boom. During those 5 days, the police actually do their job. They recover the pistol and the evidence. Their active investigative need to have A in a police lockup is over. So what happens next? A is then sent on judicial remand, meaning they are transferred over to a standard jail facility while the rest of the legal process slowly plays out. It's a super precise, targeted use of investigative time.
And that brings us to the ultimate takeaway from today's explainer. The golden rule of this whole system. Liberty is the rule. Remand is the exception. Remand is incredibly serious. You are quite literally stripping away a person's freedom before they've even been convicted of a crime. Because of that, it can only be granted for incredibly valid reasons and for strict, mathematically defined times. The absolute default setting of the justice system is always freedom.
We've seen the mechanisms today, right? The 15-day limits, the absolute necessity of the magistrate serving as a shield against unwarranted detention. It is a really complex dance between the power of the state and the rights of the individual. So I'm going to leave you with a thought to ponder. Based on all these safeguards and limits we just explored, how well do you think your local justice system actually balances the practical, urgent needs of police investigations with the fundamental, non-negotiable liberty of the individual? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning and keep learning.